Yo, what's up? I'm Q Terry, and welcome back to this show known as WTF with Q Terry. Now, this is where we explore the intersection of emerging technologies and its impact on our lives. Today, we're going to do a deep dive on the future of work. I mean, is AI really going to take our jobs? That's something that MIT Professor David Autor has a lot of thoughts on. So let's get into it. I think AI is probably an opportunity, not a threat, but I'll tell you why in a second. For those that don't know, WTF stands for What's the Future? And every day I ask myself, What's the future? And then I take detailed notes and store them in a journal. You can view that journal at everydays.wtf. I put it on screen just now just so you can see it. Now, moving on from that, there's a lot of chatter around the web relating to AI replacing our jobs and making certain jobs obsolete. You know, some people are wondering, what job should I do after it replaces my job? Or why did I just get laid off? And these are all fair questions. So I thought this interview with MIT professor David Autor on AI's impact on the future of work was a fascinating look at this topic. And you see, Autor sees AI as a replacement for human skills, but also as a complement, which is a bit nuanced for sure. But like, let's unpack that. So imagine a world where AI helps individuals without formal education perform expert tasks, potentially rebuilding, middle class jobs, which leads us to this exciting example that Otter brings up, particularly around nurse practitioners. He says that the good case for AI is where it enables people with foundational expertise or judgment to do more expert work with less expertise. The nurse practitioner example is a focal one. We're talking about the most elite task and allowing someone with somewhat less elite skills to perform them. Nurse practitioners are highly skilled professionals, but they have five fewer years of education than medical doctors. You know, I get it, but it's not all rosy because when you look at the current climate, right, we're seeing that, globally, 18% of work could be automated by AI. And a lot of the effects are going to be felt in developed markets, not emerging markets. So the challenge here lies in the design and deployment of AI. So, will AI act as a complement or a substitute? David has this thing to say where he says, it's critical to bear in mind that not everything that we use technology for is automated. Technology often provides us with tools. Our work would be unthinkable without personal computers. You would not want to be a roofer if you didn't have a nail gun to put on shingles. You wouldn't want to be an air traffic controller if you didn't have a GPS or a two-way radio and a radar system. I agree with that. I think that, looking at how we work in this new world with AI as a tool will not only help shape the workforce, but particularly in developing countries in certain professions. Like when you think about the work of a translator, I mean, where does someone go if their job was to help you translate a language when you can simply do that with the next version of Apple's AirPods or Google's Pixel Buds? It's a valid point, and these are things that we're going to have to figure out. Otter emphasizes the importance of job design and the opportunity to reallocate and redesign work with AI. He talks about saying that I think AI is going to change the ability of certain types of expertise. In some sense, in the last 4 decades, have made professional expertise increasingly scarce relative to demand because it cleared out all the bottlenecks and other calculations and information retrieval and sorting and filing. It left us all in decision making mode. How do we architect? How do we care for a patient? How do we design a piece of software? How do we read a legal brief? And in some sense, all the difficult discretionary tasks were left for people because all the rule based tasks were executed instantly and costlessly, right? It's about enhancing human capabilities, not just automation. And that focus should be on improving job quality rather than quantity. And I agree with Otter on that. So, to put it in simple economic terms, the question is to ask, whom is AI a substitute and for whom is it a complement? And you know, this is going to be something that is sort of like a philosophical question because I can see people argue both sides. When you think of the middle class that's pretty much non-existent today, you really would see them being supercharged by AI because it's like, why go get a college degree when you can pick up some skills and learn how to do the automation with the AI and potentially work? Obviously, that might only be here for a short while, given some of the advancements in the space, but it's still worth considering today, especially if you have a job that can be supercharged with AI. Now, on the flip side, if you have a job that you've went to school for 12 years, you've studied, you've gotten, pretty good, not only the degrees, but you've got the accolades and the acumen to do it. I'm looking at the lawyers and all the other very, very nice professionals out there. I mean, I can see why you'd be a little pissed off with this AI thing. And quite frankly, I don't think it's going to replace lawyers. I think that they're going to be impacted. I think that they won't have as many opportunities as they once did, especially for like BS. Like, it used to be you go to a super nice school, you get like a trade, and like you could always fall back on your degree and the brand associated with that, whether it be like you go to MIT, you can go get a like computer or an engineering job. You go to Harvard Law School, guess what? You can always find a job. I think with AI, some of those things won't be true because there's going to be models that'll be better than someone that's just like non existent with skills. But I say all that to say that, like, we've seen a glimpse of this already happening in real time. I'm going to play a video here where we showcase some things that are going on in Japan. Check it out.
It has installed a screen that displays live translated subtitles at Seibu Shinjuku Station. When the user speaks to a microphone in front of the screen, the translated subtitles show up.
Hello, how can I go to Kawagoe?
It can translate 12 languages, including English and Chinese. The operator is set to start trials of the screen on July 10th.
Going back to the whole concept of automation and what it looks like in developed markets, I mean, Japan is showing you what that future looks like. I mean, I speak Japanese and I had to learn to speak Japanese largely because it's really hard to navigate that country if you don't speak the language. Now, when you go to the train station and you don't know which train to get on, you don't have to speak Japanese anymore. The glass literally will do the translation for you. And yes, it's in a small iterative deployment stage right now. But I mean, once this moves past beta, I think we all can agree that this is going to be a much better step towards society. And this is what AI and automation and jobs look like. I mean, the guy that was still, making sure you get your ticket and you can go where you go, he still has his job, but he gets to do it faster and much more efficient now because he has AI to help with the translation. And he doesn't have to have a new skill set that he would take years of his life to develop. He can actually go take that time and apply it elsewhere where the AI might not be. It's like creativity or even, human pattern matching. Like, I mean, social networks are going to have a lot of value in this upcoming society because that's something you can't really automate. Like if you know a person and you know how to reach them and you've got that persona on lock. I don't care what targeting model you build the AI algorithm, it's not going to be the same. Humans prefer human connections. And I think the cool thing about AI is we will be able to get back to that. With that being said, every day I ask myself, what's the future? I take detailed notes. I've left a lot more thoughts on this topic specifically over at everydays.wtf. I recommend you check that out. If you really enjoyed this topic and you have more thoughts about, AI's role in the future of work, I recommend you leave a comment below. I mean, I want to know your thoughts just as much as I wanted to know David's. And with that being said, I will catch you in the future.